It's match number 15, New Zealand women versus Sri Lanka women at Sharjah. What is your percentage?
Sri Lanka has been already eliminated from the tournament after they lost against India. But they have a good chance to spoil the New Zealand's campaign.
What do you think will be their focus? Just take game at a time and win both the games and then see what happens in the next 100? Or first win this game and then we will see the permutation combination what needs to be done versus Pakistan? Is it just Sri Lanka dependent on Chamaria Tapatu and New Zealand dependent on Sophie Devine only?
Oh, I don't think that because
It's another game of the Women's T20 2024, and I must tell you, it's a very important one for one of the sides because the other one has already been knocked out of the tournament. We'll talk about that. But first of all, Parag, welcome to the show. We're discussing between New Zealand women and Sri Lanka women. Thoughts on the fixture, first of all, because New Zealand still has a lot to play. Not just a little bit, but a lot to play, keeping in mind that India won thrashingly versus Sri Lanka. So, what are your thoughts? What should be the ploy for New Zealand? Somebody like Sri Lanka, on the other hand, have nothing to lose.
so yeah, Pritham, as you said, Sri Lanka already knocked out from the tournament, and New Zealand has to do with more with the tournament because they are still have the chances. So looking at the Group A's points table, the bottom two teams will face each other in this match. So Sri Lanka has been already eliminated from the tournament after they lost against India, but they have a good chance to spoil the New Zealand's campaign.
Correct.
Like for New Zealand, is an opportunity to defeat Sri Lanka and move closer to India in the points table. And as we know, like they have already beaten the India earlier, so they have a good chance to qualify for the knockout stage. So uh, they will surely look stronger for this game.
Absolutely, they will surely do that. But talk us through. You said that Sri Lanka can surely play spoil sport when it comes to New Zealand campaign. But what if New Zealand lose this fixture, Parag? Is this the season done for them? Keeping in mind that they still have one game left, probably versus Pakistan. We'll come and discuss in the fixtures. But it's India versus Australia, so they know they have a chance out there as well.
So I think that if they lose this game, then their chances to qualify for the knockout stage will become laser because India's has also been have their eye on the New Zealand's fixtures. So they will play stronger against the Australia if the New Zealand will lose against Sri Lanka. Then they have it. It will be interesting to see if the New Zealand lose this match. Then this group will become more interesting than the earlier.
Absolutely. And can we, as an Indian, say that at the right time, the likes of Shriti Mandana, Shefali Verma has got back to form?
Yeah, this is the best time actually they got back their form. Like our middle order looks very stronger. Like Harmanpreet Kaur also played a good knock
Yeah,
yesterday, and also Jemima contributed with the bats. And our bowlers is also looking stronger. So yeah, like best wishes for the Indian team.
absolutely. Best wishes for the Indian team, to be honest. Looking into now coming back to this fixture, New Zealand women's versus Sri Lanka women, Parag, and talking about the head-to-head between these two teams. 10 times these two teams have faced each other in the shortest format of the game, but I have to say it's 10-0 in favor of the White Ferns. Are you surprised, or is it something that you expected?
No, like if we look at the New Zealand team, like I'm not surprised honestly because New Zealand team dominated the whole decade against the Sri Lankan team because and also this match is likely to follow the same pattern. I'm thinking that because Sri Lanka's form in this tournament hasn't been that impactful. Like their batters didn't do well, their bowlers hasn't been very impactful, hasn't shown any good performance throughout the tournament. So yeah, despite being the Women's Asia Cup champions, Sri Lanka unable to carry that momentum in the T20 World Cup in their
Correct.
three T20 World Cup matches also they lost very badly. So Sri Lanka hasn't shown any quality cricket. And on the other side, if we look at the New Zealand, they showed a really good form of cricket in the batting and in the bowling also. They win, they registered their win against India very convincingly.
Convincing, yeah.
Yeah, though they lost to Australia, but I'm expecting some good quality cricket from the New Zealand team in this match.
Okay, so you're expecting New Zealand to fight back in the tournament and defeat somebody like Sri Lanka. We'll talk about that. But looking into the fixtures now, Parag, starting with New Zealand women, First game, they comprehensively won versus India on the fourth. Then they lost to the mighty Aussies, the defending champions. That was a very important game for both the sides. And eventually, it was the Australian women that came better of them. Now they move on to face Sri Lanka day after tomorrow on the 12th of October, and then they will move on to face Pakistan on the 14th. So two back-to-back games, one at Sharjah, one at Dubai. What are your thoughts? Firstly, starting with Sharjah, do you think that
So
New Zealand, who have lost the first game against Australia, can cope up to the conditions?
So we all knew that the how strong is the Australian team, like in the all the departments, and we are expecting the good quality cricket from the Australian team. If they defeat the New Zealand team, then it is not the like big impact that it is not the something which is unusual happened. Like we are expecting the same thing from the Australian team to defeat all the teams in the tournament. So yeah, New Zealand lost. Yeah, it is not a very big thing, but they will look up to the other games. Like they have to win against the Sri Lanka and Pakistan if they
Yeah.
want to go further
So,
in the
so
tournament.
if
So
they win, so what do you think will be their focus? Just take game at a time and win both the games, and then see what happens in the net run rate. Or first win this game, and then we will see the permutation combination. What needs to be done versus Pakistan.
yeah, from my side, I'm thinking that they just need to focus on the one game. Uh,
Exactly.
just yeah, just won this game, then look for the second, and then look for the net run rate. That what will happen later. This is the like
Absolutely.
part and parcel of the game. So
Absolutely.
they don't need to worry about the net run rate thing right now.
True that, and that's what I thought about it as well. But moving on to their opponents, when it comes to Sri Lanka women and the fixtures, how come they had such a poor tournament? Is my first of all question, because they were the Asia Cup champions. I must tell you, first game versus Pakistan, lost at Sharjah, where we all expected them to come out all guns blazing. Versus Australia, it was a complete domination by the mighty Aussies on the 5th of October. They lost there as well. Change of venues versus India, they faced day before yesterday on the 9th and got one of the biggest thrashing. India posted the highest total so far in the World Cup, and now they move on to face New Zealand, the final game tomorrow at the Sharjah Cricket Stadium. So, what are your thoughts? Because it's the last game of the season. How come? How on earth did the Asia Cup Women's Champions have three games on the trot without a win?
So I think that one of the main reason behind the Sri Lanka's poor performance is that they're a top order. Like they're the key players like Vishmi Gunaratne, Chamari Atapattu, and the Harshita Samara Vikrama, who has been the who had shown some phenomenal performance in the Women's Asia Cup. Like right now they are unable to score runs, and also in the bowling, like their spinners like Inoshi Priyadarshini or like other bowlers like Udeshika Prabodhani, who had shown some good form of cricket in the Women's Asia Cup. Right now, they are unable to perform. Like they are unable to perform with the ball or top order with the bat. So I think that they unable to make an impact in this tournament against the quality groups. Like we are quality opponents. Like we know this group is like group of death, and if you want to be in the tournament, then you have to show the quality cricket. But
Absolutely, that is
yeah, and Sri Lanka become Sri Lanka become failed to show the quality cricket. So I think that this is one of the reason in behind the
100% agreed. But as you've said about Chamaria Tapattu, Vishmaguru Ratne, Harshida Samaravikrama, similarly when it comes to New Zealand as well, losing the first game against Australia previously, can I ask you this question as both the teams are facing each other? Is it just Sri Lanka dependent on Chamaria Tapattu and New Zealand dependent on Sophie Devine only?
I don't think that because if we look in the earlier match against Australia, like Amelia Kerr, who showed exceptional performance with the ball, she took 4 wickets and also
Yeah.
contributed with the 29 runs. And also the other bowler, Rosemary Mayer, who has taken 6 wickets in the last 2 matches. So
Mhm.
I don't think that this is happen. This is happening with the New Zealand on surely because they have other players to like handle the team. But
Mhm.
in the if we look in the Sri Lanka, they have only the Chamari Atapattu, who is the
Correct.
responsible player from the Sri Lankan team, who needs to play in the batting, who needs to showcase their performance with the ball. So if she was unable to do it, then Sri Lanka just fallen up, just crumbled up in the very bad manner. So I think that Sri
Absolutely.
Lanka is more dependent on the Vishnu Gunaratne than Sophie Devine's New Zealand team.
Okay, so you're saying that Chamari Attapadu's side is more dependent on the captain herself rather
Yeah.
than Sophie Devine, the skipper for the White Funds. Fair enough. Moving into the pitch report, Parag, it's going to be played at Sharjah. We all know that. So, what are your thoughts when it comes to these two stadiums? You have seen that batting first has been a plus point out here, but what do you think when it comes to New Zealand versus Sri Lanka? Both teams have good enough spinners. We have seen that defending targets has been deployed at Sharjah Cricket Stadium. If you're given the captain's hat, what are you going to do?
So on this ground, if I won the toss, I would choose to bat first. Same like in this tournament, most matches are sharps that have been won by the teams batting first. And in this tournament, 7 days is gone past. The pitch is gradually slowing down.
Correct.
So I'm expecting that in the second inning, it will turning more slow, favoring more to spinners,
Mhm.
becoming more gripper for the spinners to take wickets. So the strategy should be to win the toss, post a good total in the first inning, and then rely on the bowlers to defend the target.
Okay, so you're expecting the teams to bat first, post total because there's no due. You're expecting them to defend targets. Post a good total is what you mentioned. That's very important, I must tell you.
Yeah.
But looking into who will do that, the players to watch out for now, time Parag. And here are the six players I have chosen, starting with New Zealand. Has to be skipper Sophie Devine, Emilia Kerr, and I've gone with Georgia Plimmer as my third. And for
Okay.
Sri Lanka, I've gone with Chamari Atapattu, Harshita Samaravikrama, and Inoshi Prabodhani. Here are my six players. Any changes for you?
So from New Zealand side, I will go with the Sophie Devine, as you said, Amelia Kerr, as you said. But my third player will be the Rosa Mary Mayer, who is
Okay.
the right arm medium pacer, and then some of the exceptional performance for the New Zealand team. Like as I said earlier, she has taken 6 wickets in the last two matches. In the match against India, she has taken 4 wickets, which is very exceptional performance, and also against the Australia. She has done very exceptional job with the ball, who took 2 wickets and just faced some difficulties in posed
Yeah.
some difficulties in front of the Australian batters. So I will go with these 3 players.
Okay, and similarly for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, similarly for the Sri Lanka, I will go with your three key players. Like these are the usual 3 players who needs to perform, and
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that Sri Lanka would end their campaign with the win. So
Okay, we'll come to that. As I just wanted to just hold a break when it comes to that,
okay.
but we're expecting the experienced candidates for Sri Lanka to make a good contribution in the final game of the tournament. Moving into the predicted playing 11, starting with New Zealand, I've gone with the same 11. I must tell you that lost the game versus Australia. I understand they have dropped Jessica, but they have got a replacement for her. But I think that Jessica needs to come back to the 11 because she's given a little bit of more balance in the side. It did not
Yeah.
work out with the other bowlers. So I think I'm going with Jessica back into the side. The team that defeated India will be my playing 11. What about yours?
Yeah, I'm saying like as you said, Jessica needs to get some more chances. Like she has very talented all rounder. So I'm
Mhm.
also looking for the same to do the change, like one change that has to be needed
Okay.
to playing
Okay,
11.
so you're going for the same team that won the fixture versus India, just like I've gone for New Zealand women. Similarly, for Sri Lankan women, this team doesn't have to make any changes because they're a good side. But the thing is that they're not performing well as a unit. As you mentioned, the top order is not contributing the runs, but the bowlers are unable to defend targets as well. That's the reason why I've gone with an unchanged 11. Parag, are you also going with an unchanged one?
Yeah, I'm thinking that to go with the unchanged 11, but as I said, they are already been eliminated from the tournament. So I'm thinking that they should give a chance to the other players to just to enjoy
Okay,
the game, to enjoy the game and just to give the experience of playing with the
World
team
Cup.
in that atmosphere like World Cup. So like I'm
Okay,
thinking,
that's a very fair point. I must tell you, already are knocked out of the tournament. Give your bench players a little bit of chance just to experience yourself against a tough opponent like New Zealand. How it
yeah.
feels like to be at the middle when it comes to a T20 World Cup at such venues. But moving on to the big time now, predictions time now, Parag. It's match number 15, New Zealand women versus Sri Lanka women at Sharjah. What is your percentage?
I will go with the New Zealand because if New Zealand win this match, then this group will become more interesting.
Yeah.
Because then there have the India and New Zealand are the two contenders for to a knockout stage,
So
like
that,
for
that will also put pressure on somebody like Pakistan as well.
yeah, then it will become more interesting. Then there are three teams who will fight for the second position.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the New Zealand with 90% and 10% for the Sri Lanka, hoping that they have to finish the campaign with the in a good term.
Absolutely. 90-10. That's clear domination you have given for the white funds, I must tell you, Parag. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Fifth Umpire. New Zealand woman versus Sri Lanka woman we have tomorrow. Sit back and enjoy because it's going to be an intense one. It's going to be an important game, not just for these two teams, but also for Team India as well because they will be closely watching this game as well. Don't forget to subscribe to Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much and bye bye.